This is the presentation I gave during my on-site interview for my first full-time UX designer role at DoorDash. In the end, I got an offer, which means the presentation at least went okay. Therefore, in this video, I'm going to share with you the exact presentation I gave during that interview. So I'll first walk you through what are in the slides, what did I say, what is the content, and then go over the few questions that they asked me during the interview. And lastly, if I were to do it again, what would I change? So that you can iterate your presentation and land your dream job and internship. If all those sound excitingly useful, grab your favorite drink and let's get into it. Good morning, everyone. My name is Justin. I'm a designer working in Silicon Valley. First, context. The hiring manager was extremely helpful because she gave me some solid guidance on what I should be showing, what the team wanted to see, which helped a lot in shaping what the final presentation would be so that I could show the most relevant content that gave me the best shot to land the offer. To be fair, this is not common, but still I will go ask them in case they will give me any hint and directions. Just ask, you don't lose anything. Understand what they want first. Design thinking, which leads us to chapter 1. What they wanted to see, what I presented to them. So this is the opening slide, designing products of moment. I have a high-level agenda, 5 different sections. And go to the first intro. This is like 4 themes that I weave together about a short intro by myself, follow move surprise capture. There's like a celebrity that I follow, which I still really admire her, and that actually inspired me to be who I am today. So if you're watching this video, thank her for inspiring me so you can get to see this. Anyways, I was just talking about how I played badminton, I do some snowboarding. I also like playing some magics and cardistry and playing some magic, making things change color. I also talked about I have a YouTube channel that I captured. Back then I was doing a lot of travel vlogging, so that's what it was. And then a little bit of my educational background and internship that I had. And the 3 big things I try to incorporate into my projects, that products should be fluid, delightful, and ubiquitous. Then moving on to the first project, Pinterest Lens. So this is a title slide, starting with the summary of the project, team, role, collaboration, and what Pinterest Lens really is. The computer vision part, you take a picture, it's like a camera search. A little bit into the business side of things, the mission of the company and the business need for doing this project. So dive a little bit into why we do this project in the first place. There's the initial topic, you select it, you save to a paintboard, the text-based search that you have, and what text search base is about, and what it is missing, that if people don't know about the keywords, they don't know what to search for, which is why it's a problem for some users. And if there's a problem, it leads to lower engagement. It's not good for business. And therefore, there's this objective of designing this camera search experience and talking about some technical constraints and how the technical pipeline works about computer vision and camera search, and more details about how it goes. But it's on the server side, it's how much delay when you send a query over and fetch the content. So I dive into a few explorations. So exploration number 1 is you tap the shutter button. So I started with, here are some sketches that I did to just visualize what it is, and go into a few animations. I believe this plays, yes it does. So a set of animation that I did at the time to show, what is possible if you tap the shutter button. And then I went into a selected field, circling an object, boxing an object, and a soft spotlight to highlight the object that is identified. And then the next exploration is tapping on a target directly on screen. To be honest, there's a little bit too much going on, which I will talk about later, about what I can improve on. And then similar format, deeper dive into what each of them means, or the highlighted ones. Build up is a little bit of a pixelation or unblur, unpixelated version, or it's a pose, or maybe this is giving a silhouette if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's like, so actually, side note, this is actually really similar to what Apple came out with the object identification in your photos. So my design was a little bit ahead of the time. Anyways, the third exploration, which is more of a real-time detection, instead of pressing on anything, you will just move your phone camera around and then we'll do the detection and classification on the fly. So again, going into 5 to 6 different ones, and just to show you one of them, as you pause, it's going to react and respond to your action, and then show you a few hints, collapse back into the little dots on the top of the object. And then Putting all three expressions together as a little summary slide, and then go into the refinement stage of, okay, we want it to be more consistent, reliable, factor into the text queries, and going into the little bit of comparison between each concept, exploration 1 and 2, about narrowing it down, keeping a confined and contained camera view, half a screen probably, and a different cutout shape for it. And the dots, the circular element being some of the Pinterest design language. We're going to keep using it. It's abstract, generic, flexible, etc. And turn into colorful dots, which you see what it becomes later on, connecting the two different states. And this is what's end up being shipped. This is a result of the design, and also went into the result of this project and how it impact Pinterest overall. So media coverage, partnership with Target, partnership with Samsung, as well as some, I guess, usage metrics, how many people use it, and some takeaways, learnings that I learned from this project, like staggering action, scale equity decision, using people's first impression to help iterate faster. Yeah, so this is the Pinterest project. The next is Waymo one, which is the self-driving car project from Google X that's spun off to be an independent company. So this is the app that I helped design, and this is the car that they had at the time. Similar format, a high-level summary of what the team is, what's my role, and the collaboration. So as the mission of the company, the business need for this app, and going from the business need into what the app should behave. There are several qualities and or needs to have: easy to use, convenient, trustworthy, enjoyable. On the get-go, I did a lot of research by taking a lot of Waymo rides during my internship, about 200 something rides, more than many of the team members. And I also did a journey mapping as one of my first projects, and I was using this journey map to guide the audience through the projects that I was going to work with, because now I know what are the critical phases in the journey that, and where in the journey that I help tackle, and how the project fit in there. Okay, what are some of the things that I can do during the trip, how to get off. So this is still part of the journey map. And I started with, okay, planning. These two people plan to get steak for dinner, and then they request the ride. And then that's where the first user problem, how to properly set the pickup and drop-off point, which is, just like Uber and Lyft. Where do you want to go? Where you are. So how is this different from all those projects? Well, first, this is the actual app recording back in the days. This is what it was like. And this is some of the earlier concepts the team was working on, and then I jumped on board and helped refine, iterate on it. So something that they talk about, the reachability maps and the lens that help review the map, because, a self-driving car follow the laws. They cannot pull over just randomly anywhere at the bus station or the red curb, So this is what it was for. I was highlighting that there's this additional dot, this white dot in the middle, that is, so there are 3 dots at a given time. That is not common for a map interaction. Explaining the different elements on screen, on the app. What my proposal would be, if we add this, we should only show one or the other. Flow of pickup and drop off. And then I talk about the nearby pickup. I talk about the future pickup. There's a dot, what a dot can evolve into. And a drop off. And some discussion on these two topics with the team. It's a debate. It turns out we are both correct, but differently, because we have different implicit intents, and what are some design choices that I made in the end, and showing off what is the end result of the development, the discussion, the debate. Pick up and drop off, how you behave from here to here, and then when you let go, it go back to the blue dot. And this is a prototype that I made. You see the blue lines, and the pin would just pick up and drop off. And then this is what it ended up being. This is on the news, which you can look it up. Next, after we figure out the pick up and drop off, of course there are more new problems. For example, maybe people don't know they can walk. So I walk through the different little walking man icon that I helped develop from V2 to V12, or what it will be, or what it will look like when it's being implemented in the app here. Final screen to pause and showcase what the end result is. And then going back to the requesting stage, you're waiting for the car. You don't know which car that is. When you're bored, riding. So these are all illustrations that I did for the journey mapping. I'm just walking through the journey, arriving when they arrive, and yeah, that's the end of the journey. But the journey of Waymo as a company has just begun, which is a pretty clever double meaning at the time. And more problem will come from there. Is the app frozen? Because with the boarding screen, like nothing is really happening. You don't know if the car is actually still coming or what's going on. I was designing some other animation elements to inform users that the car is waiting. You have 9 minutes to board. Something is still happening. Just communicate that status more dynamically. And another problem is how do I go back, sort of showing what it was like, and then how it turned into a two-way movable icon animation, micro interaction. And this is where it lives for the icon. In the end, wrapping up with the takeaway, the learning. So that's the Waymo project. And lastly, the heuristic evaluation of the DoorDash app, which is something the hiring manager asked me to do. First, going over what the three-sided market or business that DoorDash is in. Each one has a different use case or problem they have to solve. So starting with drafting a persona. So one thing about persona, whatever you draft needs to be relevant for the design. You cannot just draft a persona and then forget about it or never use this information to draft the design. So side topic. So first is like the visibility of the system. Like when you open the app, what do you see? Like just breaking down the visual element of, oh, this is an address, and then you have the categories, you have some filters, and just breaking down the landing screen essentially. And the app architecture is in a scroll, it's in a container, it's in a card form, what the interaction is like. And then going to the promotion card, like why this is needed, like it's a business case, etc. Just so explain a little bit of those things. And then going a little bit deeper into filters. So think about product design. What makes the product good product? How does that help the company generate revenue? So what help users make decisions that leads to them to order? So maybe another filter that is like less than 30 minutes, so like faster delivery essentially. Or maybe use a map view as a distance as a filter. Remember, Samuel was on keto diet. So what if keto and 1 out of 10 people in the US is on diet? So what about using diet as a filter? What about healthy is a filter and other filters that could be relevant? And tap versus swipe, the disconnect like the dish. This is lobster roll and shrimp, but when you tap into it, it just disappears, nowhere to be found. So things like that. Lacking pictures, cannot order from multiple restaurants. So problems like to call out. The checkout screen, what it's like. Proposal as a summary of how it benefits both the dasher and the consumer. And then in the end, wrapping it up with business, I'm interested, the environment, the team, and the challenge that we're facing, which is really cool. I want to join, etc. Tying everything together of all the fluid moments that I help design, or the delightful moment that I help design with animation, and designing ubiquitous products. And that's why I want to join DoorDash. And thank you, everybody. These are the moments. Yes, that's the presentation. It's not word for word. I might do one for my future, I guess, Patreon membership. But this is it for now. So stay tuned for the membership. That's chapter 1. And of course, you're wondering what are the questions that came up in the interview, because if you present, they may ask you the same thing. So let's go to chapter 2, the questions that they asked. There are 2 questions that I remember. So one is about the Waymo app. So this walking icon, right? The 3-minute little man walking. I showed this screen showing the evolution of how it's developed from this one with 2 colors into the one with just the black or the dark gray at the time. So the question was, why was the walking icon in the end not the colorful one, but the black and white one? This is an interesting question because I never thought about it that way, because I use 2 colors to debug on the little walking man, because you know on the side view there's like a arm that is in the front and then the other arm in the back. So just for me to see like which arm is where to keep track. But of course, I explained this is just for debugging purpose, and the intent is to not use a distracting, colorful icon. Another question is, which part of the work is yours? We need to go back here so you know what I'm talking about. For example, In the Weibo project, collaboration, I said one visual designer, one interaction designer, one motion designer, one researcher, 2 front-end eng. And at Pinterest, I said 2 product designers and 2 ML engineers and 1 front-end engineer. So there are 3 people on the Pinterest team, right? Me plus the other 2 designers. And looking at all these design and animation, which part of these are done by me? Like, what did I actually do in it? Did I animate the whole thing? Did they give me the file to animate it? Did they animate it and I will add the color to it? Like, what exactly it is? Did I just do the sketches and they animate it? Like, how does that work? So of course, from their perspective, they never know how the work was distributed. So I have to explain, oh no, actually I did all these works. It's not like assembly line, I did this, they did this, and then they hand the work back to me, and then I work on something else. Which is my bad about explaining the collaboration side, because I actually never worked with them directly. One designer is my manager, the other was my mentor, so they're just giving me feedback as I go. So I did all the work myself. I worked on animation, in After Effects, I did the sketch at the time. They never actually touched the file, so it's all my work. So that's something to be clear. So maybe I'll just cross this off. I just don't include the product designer part and just say they are my mentors or my to give me feedback and guidance. So something to take note of. So that gave a little bit of a hint of what I will be changing for this presentation if I were to do it again. So that means chapter 3, what to iterate on. So now looking back, if I were to present this all over again, there are a few things, of course, I would change. First and foremost, the intro is way too long. I agree, looking back, this is kind of embarrassing. It looks like I'm a narcissist. I have 5 slides talking about how cool I am. That's ridiculous. Fun fact is fine. Fun fact of a slide or 2, that's fine. That's just too much. It dilutes the focus of the presentation because, you know, these are the core, not the intro. And just FYI, when you make a presentation, if you feel like you are trying to add content to fill up time, to just stuff things in, that's not a good sign. It probably means your project is not strong enough. You don't have enough research and details and epiphanies inside to elaborate on. So you might as well spend the time that you try to add stuff into, just work on a little bit of the project and then have a story to tell. Another thing to change is, we can take a look at this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't count this. So 8 slides, just walking through the progress of how it went from here to here. Okay. Consolidate these 8 slides into 1 or 2 that highlights the key moment. So if going from full screen to a circular cutout camera view is the key moment, talk about it. Why? Is it because of user research? Is it about edge decision? What is it? Speaking of the number of slides, the less slides, right, the less screens, like mock-ups you will have, the more memorable they will be to your audience. Because if this is all they see, they look at this for longer, they're going to remember this more. If I flash this for every 2 seconds, they're going to memorize it less. That's just how humor works, right? I mentioned about the concept followability. Do the presentation in a way that is easier to follow. Staying on one screen with 2 screenshots is for sure easier to follow than 8 slides and maybe 10 different screens. Lastly, as you might see, I don't have a lot about Eng and product manager collaboration in here. Kind of talked about some technical constraints. Let me see where to go. Here, like, oh, server-side processing, 1000 millisecond delay. Weave these 2 things into the project. So for example, the animation of ... this has to be this long because it takes a second to fetch the response. That's why design animation for about 1 second. So that just instantly feels more collaborative and has more color to it. This is definitely not the finest presentation I've ever given, and a little bit of low-key embarrassing to be honest, but it's okay. Everybody has their past. It's about the future. Still, without fixing anything that I just mentioned, it still includes a lot of things that a hiring manager will be looking for, enough to land a full-time product design role. So I guess this is not bad. Over time, as I progressed in my design career, I was like, whoa, there are just so many more details, techniques, storytelling methods that I can learn to improve my presentation skills beyond what I just covered, beyond all the fixes that I mentioned. So I will see you all in these videos. Keep designing a better future. Tschüss.